You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
Oh, there it is. I was like, where's the music?
Cameras.
I love it. I really do love this song.
I just like having our own theme music.
Yeah, me too. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Project Runway All-Stars. Bing is for doing, and we are doing episode, does anybody actually know the episode? I think it's episode 6. And it is called something, what is it called?
Going Green.
Going Green. No, I don't think that's it. Was that it?
Green dress for the red carpet.
Thank you. I knew it had something to do with the red carpet. The one detail I didn't actually write down in my notes. So that is what we're doing tonight. As you guys can see, Alina is not here again today, but she apologizes and she will be with us next week. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lauren and I am joined by...
I'm Cougar.
Hey guys, I'm Virginia.
And let's get into it, shall we? All right. So our contestants, we have about 8 left. So we're kind of really getting down to the nitty gritty, it feels like. When I saw the group walk up, I thought it's getting really small.
Yeah.
So the contestants go to Highline Park in New York City. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what Highline Park is, Cougar, you explained it really well. It's basically a park that was designed atop of these, I guess, recycled railroad tracks. Or it's an old subway track that isn't used, correct?
Yeah, decommissioned subway tracks that have been made into a garden. It opened in 2009.
Yes.
So the show started out with the contestants meeting with the founders of the Highline, which is over in the Chelsea district.
Joshua David and Robert Hammond. And I have to say, I was actually at the Highline Park just last month, and it's such a cool park to go to if you guys haven't been there. If anyone's going to be visiting New York soon, you have to visit. It's a really cool place to just go and relax. There's some little vendors that you'll find along the way with food and everything. So it's a really cool place. So
I was there last month. I
you
can't believe we didn't run into each other.
Ah, darn.
I know.
Oh, well. Next time. I'll call you.
Okay.
Anyway, so the contestants go there. They meet Caroline Murphy and the 2 founders, and Caroline describes the challenge. And, you know, she describes the concept of the Highline Park, and it segues into the actual challenge where they have to design a red carpet look made out of sustainable fabrics. So what they're going to do is they're going to be provided these sustainable fabrics, and they're given a ring with 1 fabric per contestant, and they let Emilio choose first since he was the winner of last week's challenge, and he basically picked his fabric and passed it on. And from there, they all got to sit around Highline Park and sketch before they went into the workroom. So let's see, did anybody have any thoughts about that? Any particular thoughts on that moment? Like, did you have any thoughts about the particular fabric?
Oh, yeah, you know, I thought it was really interesting. It was air dye fabrics. You know, they chose this fabric that, you know, is really, it's made in an environmentally conscious way, which was cool. I thought the concept of doing a red carpet dress, environmentally friendly red carpet dress is really cool. And then, you know, just as far as the way that they divvied out the swatches, I knew instantly because there were only, you know, a certain amount of swatches, a certain amount of contestants, somebody was going to get the raw deal. And Althea seemed to really, you know, she got the worst one. But, you know, it was just a swatch of fabric. We didn't know yet what was going to happen with that. So even though hers wasn't a great fabric, she could have done something really great with it. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. I almost think it was mean to put that fabric on that ring, personally. But I thought it was interesting that every designer that picked a fabric, as they picked it, they all had their own reasoning for why they chose that. When really, as you get down to it, Althea, she had no choice. Yeah. Or, you get down to maybe there's only 3 to pick from. But I thought it was so funny because Ivy, she's like, I chose this yellow fabric and it makes me think of the sun. And I'm thinking, oh, that's so original of you. Yeah. And a woman that goes on the red carpet should really feel like a star, which is the sun is the biggest star. And I'm like thinking, way to try and get yourself there. Yeah, I thought it was really funny. So from there, they go into the workroom. And in addition to this sustainable fabric, they're also told that they're going to be recycling embellishments from previous challenges. So they get into the workroom and they're shown, I guess, bins of trims and just different embellishments that they had used from previous challenges
like
that were leftovers. Exactly. So all the contestants really just went all at one time and kind of had to scavenge to pick what they wanted. I thought it was interesting how Anthony Ryan was like, I'm just going to pick something here and there, because he really thought about it. And when he said it, I kind of thought, oh, that's very true, that a lot of red carpet outfits or gowns don't have a ton of embellishment.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of smart of him.
Very much so, because there's usually not a lot of sparkle and pizzazz. What really strikes about a red carpet gown is, what are you showing off more than, the embellishments and how they're making you look. Is it like Angelina Jolie's dress from the Oscars with the slit and, having her leg exposed.
That was
so
so
what
funny.
is it particularly about the dress that's, making your body look incredible or not so incredible?
Right. It should, like a really good dress, it should be in the draping of it, or the way that it's actually made, not just like, a trim that's thrown on there at the last minute.
Right.
That's a great thing that, the draping is something I thought about really early in this episode, because when they said red carpet, I was like, this should be like the easiest competition as far as like how to come up with the looks, because all it has to be for red carpet is a great drape.
Yeah.
And I think some people probably ended up taking it a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because when I look at some of the designs that we have here on the runway, they didn't all hit that. They didn't all really do a great drape.
And we could see that right when they started sketching.
Yeah.
So obviously a few people weren't really getting their red carpet signals correct.
Right. And one thing I forgot to mention, while they were at Highline Park, they were already told that the guest judge was going to be Diane von Furstenberg, who is legendary, and she actually, her corporate office is right pretty much on the Highline Park, and her loft is at the top of Highline Park.
Yeah.
So she must have a really amazing view, and it's just very fitting that she happens to be the guest judge for this particular competition. Although I don't know that she's a sustainable designer.
No.
So I don't know.
There was no real connection there, I don't think.
Yeah, it was quite a stretch. Anyways, they get into the workroom and they all start designing. What stood out to you guys at all in the workroom that you can think of?
Well, but before we even go to the workroom, can I just say I don't understand what is going on with Carolyn's styling. All of that pink dress or the pink sweater sleeves. I mean, who is styling her? She's a model. She could be wearing these amazing clothes, and everything they're putting out today was just awful.
Yeah, I agree.
That's going to come up, I think, a few times in our discussion. If you guys are watching out there, the producers of Project Runway All-Stars, you might want to reconsider your stylist roster and what you're putting on the camera.
I think it's like the B team for All-Stars.
It is a little B, yeah.
I think it is. But you know what I think, though? I think it's most often it's their own personal stylist. Like, this stylist probably goes with her to all the different things that she does. It's not just Project Runway, which I think is even worse.
Or maybe she just doesn't have a stylist, and that's the problem.
Yeah, well, she can hire Heidi's stylist.
Yeah, even the makeup, the hair, nothing really works for her. And she's gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, she's a really beautiful person, but yeah, she doesn't have it going for her.
You know what they mean when they say they're a beautiful person.
She is. She's gorgeous. She's a model. I'm not. So I can't say anything, but she could use a better stylist. You're totally right. Yeah, and I liked how she made that comment. Maybe I'll wear this to my next red carpet. The first thing I thought was, what red carpet do you ever see Caroline Murphy on? Ever. Like, if I were the designers, I'd be like, that's not saying much, so you're not really enticing me.
And there was a moment when they all got excited, like, ooh, she could, wear our thing out to the red carpet, whatever red carpet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because, Heidi usually says that, but Heidi goes on a million red carpets. Everywhere she goes, she's photographed, so it is a big deal, but her,
No. Even if she's on a red carpet, are you seeing pictures of her later? She may be on red carpets and we don't even know it because she's not really covered by the press.
Or she's somebody's date.
Exactly. That could be it. Exactly. We don't really notice.
No, to kind of get back to your question, all right, going into the workroom, mad rush. It was a big rush, and I felt like it made the episode go by so quickly because everybody seemed to be rushed, not enough time. One of the first things I remember was, with being a little anxious, I guess, and not having a lot of time. There was a little cattiness in there. People were picking on each other's designs. One quote that I thought was really kind of interesting was Laura Kathleen talking about Emilio, saying there's a big difference between costume and fashion. Do you remember when she said that?
Yes, I do.
And I thought it's really true. It's true, but I was like, I don't know what she's trying to say there. It was kind of one of those incomplete digs.
Yeah. Well, I think you're seeing that a lot in the competition right now. It's interesting. When you see them interact in the workroom, they all seem really friendly with each other, and they're laughing and they're having a good time. And I think some of that direct cattiness to each other is not there as much as we dwindle down. But then you get them in these interviews, and they all are nitpicking each other. Of course, the producers, I'm sure, are egging it on.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just funny to see them all like friendly and, laughing and having a good time in the workroom together. But then they're like, oh, Amelia's dress. Oh, Ivy, so bad. And, they can really rip each other apart.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Yeah. Well, and you also have to think, if you're spending all this time with these people, I mean, even if I really didn't like somebody, I try to make the best of it and have a good time. But, when I'm alone, I'm like, God, I really can't stand that person. It's just like any work environment.
Yeah.
Producers are there like, tell us what exactly sucks about Emilio.
Yeah. Tell us what you really
or who did you not like? I think that's really what they ask. What outfit did you not like? And they have no problem sharing that information.
Yeah.
It's really funny to hear. And it's funny to hear, one person doesn't like the other person's dress, and then you hear that same person not liking their dress, like vice versa. It's really interesting. So
I think a little bit of, kind of going back to Althea in the workroom, she was just foreshadowing before we started to see what she was really putting together. She was talking about how depressing her fabric was, how rainy day it was. And
that was Uli.
Was it Uli?
Uli.
Oh,
and
I'm
she
sorry.
Said it was like a Miami
you're right. Yeah.
rainy day or
That's
whatever.
Right, yeah. And I even wrote down here Uli, but
no, you're right.
Because I was just thinking about how depressing Althea's was too.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But what I did like about Uli, and maybe this is why I consistently like her designs, she said that she makes a challenge fit what she does and not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I believe that about her, and I think that's part of what makes her a good designer, and I think that's where a lot of designers fail in this competition.
They try to go too far out of it. Yeah. They're being inauthentic.
Right. And I think, for example, that was Kane's problem. I thought he was like, here's the challenge. How do I create to this challenge? And you never really saw his aesthetic, and you never really knew what his aesthetic was. You knew he was really skilled, but it just... He didn't do what Uli was saying. She makes the challenge fit her, not the other way around. And I thought that was such a good point.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you brought that up in that way because, we kind of thought, I think, that she was going to get knocked by the judges when we get to that part for being a little bit using too many similar trims to last week. And I don't think we saw that.
I think they did a little split screen in the episode where she even said it. She's like, okay, time for an Uli explosion. And she went and got a lot of similar trims to what she actually used in last week's challenge.
Yeah.
She did a lot of feathering and just kind of like that like, I don't know, silver beading, kind of had like a little bit of a rugged look. I wouldn't even know how to describe it, but she kind of went for that. And Joanna Coles came around and she even pointed that out, But Uli was also a little upset, or not upset, but maybe let down that her fabric was a lot darker than what she thought it would be. Because it's different when you just get the little swatch of fabric versus when you get yards of it. So, you know, she was just trying to, the feathers, I think she was just trying to kind of lighten it up and give it a, you know, lift the mood of the dress, I suppose.
Sure.
So before we get deeper into the workroom and more of what Joanna Cole said, Cougar, I want to know if you finished your holiday shopping.
In fact, I have 0.00% of my holiday shopping done. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there haven't done your holiday shopping either. So you're watching this right now on AFTERBUZZTV.com. Probably above me or below me, there is a banner that says Amazon on it. I want you guys to click on there and do all of your holiday shopping through Amazon.com, through one of those banners, wherever they might be.
Or to the right,
or to the right, or the left. Somewhere in this vicinity, there is a banner. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Well, once I get to a computer and I start watching myself on AfterBuzz, I'm going to go do my shopping through Amazon.
I think I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah,
otherwise I'm really screwed.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
I think
Mom.
it's free delivery for orders over $25 or around that price.
Exactly.
You can't beat that.
I know. So
free is better than paying gas to go to the mall.
Click the banner for Amazon. Free delivery over $25. And join us in being the last to get this done.
Exactly. Thank you.
Of course.
Getting back into the workroom, anything else stick out to you guys so far where we're at in this episode?
Surprise best or biggest fan ever, Laura Kathleen, is Diane von Furstenberg's #1 fan, I guess. Leader of the DVF fan club.
Saying that.
Yeah, and
like,
it was a little forced.
I know.
A little forced. Like, okay. So, yeah, apparently she's going to be, for this episode, the big fan of the judge. So
right.
We'll see what she ends up doing.
Yeah,
with that.
I did agree though when she picked her fabric and then she found out that Diane von Furstenberg was going to be the guest judge. She was so excited that she had that fabric, and I couldn't agree with her more because that's what Diane von Furstenberg. Her fabrics are so amazing, and she has such great patterns and colors. She was just I thought if you had to pick on fabric alone, she was already winning.
Yeah.
Right.
Personally. So I thought it was so funny though. And Virginia, you say this all the time, how Joanna Coles, whatever she says, because she's British, it never really comes across as an insult. I just love how she said to her, like, so you're the fan. Well, you know, you don't want to meet her being in the bottom, or basically like saying,
don't
like,
be in the bottom.
Laura Kathleen was like, I've never met her. I'm so excited. And she's like, well, let's hope it's not in the bottom. And it's like, you could say that as an American and we're totally going to come across as a bitch. But Joanna Coles, she's just kind of fantastic.
She had other great quotes from the workroom.
Yeah.
You know, she was picking on Althea for all the drab colors.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Maybe this was in reference to Emilio being a little nipple focused.
No, I think that was
Casanova.
Because
that's
Casanova
right.
was working on like his detailing somehow, and he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this, and he kind of took fabric and like he kind of like circled the nipple, and she's like, I think that's a little nipple focused, and I'm like, she just says it so well.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was pretty great. She did say to Althea, I think what all of us were thinking. She straight out told Althea, you're swimming somewhere in the middle. We need to get you up to the top.
Exactly.
And I think she just pointed out that Althea she's just kind of flying under the radar at this point. So I thought, you know, it was good to hear her say that.
And if, you know, you guys out there were watching the episode up to this point, this is where we were kind of saying, you know, a red carpet dress, you can make a beautiful red carpet dress with just the right draping. And Althea is a perfect example at this point where you could start to see her idea come together, which was, you know, had all these different kind of cuts and pieces and kind of switching or reversing the fabric.
Yeah.
Hers
was bad from the sketch.
From the sketch, yeah. But she could have
bad.
saved it by, you know, and I felt bad for her almost at the beginning when I saw the swatch that she got. But she could have made a beautifully draped dress out of it.
You have to be really talented, though, I think, to save that fabric for a red carpet.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, that actually reminded me of Christopher from last season. I was thinking he could have manipulated that fabric really, really well. You know how he would do all the cutting? I was thinking he could have just, you know, really gone with that. And he could have made like a really nice like ombre type of gown. And that's what she could have done with it on the way the two sides of the fabric worked. But it just looked like a really awful summer dress.
Yeah.
You know, that you could get it like Torrid or
No,
one
right.
of those really awful places in the mall.
Well, and Christopher's a good example because he's so creative, and you need to be that creative to do something good with this fabric. Exactly. And you know what she reminds me of? For those of you that watched Casanova's season, she's doing the slutty hoochie looks that Casanova did in his season.
Yeah.
It's kind of trashy. You're right. You could buy it at some awful little store.
Yeah.
Or any one of those.
Yeah.
Not knocking it if you guys shop there.
No, because actually I bought things at Charlotte Russe, but there are those stores where it's just bad. I'm just thinking those little like one-off stores that you find on the street. I have never even seen that.
The Fashion District Santee Alley.
Clubwear says it all. So you're right. That's probably it. Yeah, I think we kind of nailed everything that was happening in the runway.
Casanova smelled bad. We didn't.
I was just gonna say that Casanova was sniffing his armpits throughout his
I just
time.
Love him.
He is kind of funny. He said he smelled like a rat died in his armpit.
Yeah,
I think that was exactly what he said, and I don't want to know what that would smell like.
No.
Oh, but speaking of the whole time, they said it was only 9 hours that they had in total.
Yeah.
Which is
my
why,
gosh.
because I've been thinking, is it really that short because it's a shorter season, so we only see an hour of it, or is it because they really have less time? And creating that, like all of those garments in 9 hours, is insane.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and it really showed, because what we really saw in the workroom was Joanna going around and critiquing them on what they were planning to do, but we didn't actually see a lot of the progress of the work.
Yeah.
When they had the models come in, Ivy had nothing sewn.
Yeah,
nothing. She couldn't put anything on her model to even test it out. So you saw a lot of the designers really falling behind in this particular challenge. It was obvious.
No budget, and then the time constraint was interesting. It was, they kind of switched it up a little bit.
Yeah, even Uli, I think, was the one that was like, androgyny sounds so simple right now, or she made some kind of comment like that, like, the last challenge is nothing compared to this one. So you really saw them struggle.
Which is why they should have stuck with the drape.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why, they are cutting it so short, because this is the biggest prize that out of any of the runway seasons. They're getting a huge, like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in rewards. So why are we cutting it to you have 9 hours for a challenge?
I don't know. That's a good question. And I would think more people would watch Project Runway All-Stars because it's the return of their fan, or return of the people that they enjoyed watching. If you're a fan of the show, you want to see your favorites come back and see them battle against maybe some of your other favorites, maybe some of the villains that you hated. And I would think loyal Project Runway fans would really be watching this and maybe be more excited about it than they would the regular season. Maybe a lot of it has to do with the judges. I don't know why Heidi and all of them don't do All-Stars.
They need a
to
break.
like keep the audience.
She has that big holiday party she has to throw.
Yeah. Whatever.
She's busy.
Isaac needs busy
apparently.
Time.
I think Isaac's really great. And I think he's actually getting a lot better on this show. Yeah, I really do.
It's my homeboy.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. That's, just a side note as to why we don't understand why these episodes are so short. They're cutting it too quick. Yeah, I think
they had 2 hours when they came back. The next day to the workroom, 2 hours to finish.
Yeah,
before
that's
runway.
Nothing.
No,
especially where they were.
They were all sewing them in the models. They didn't even have time to put in any zippers or anything.
Yeah.
But kind of, I think that maybe when the producers were coming up with this particular challenge, maybe they expected red carpet would be a lot more draped. And so they wouldn't need so much time to be making all these pattern pieces and really, crazy things.
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Because you do see some really structured pieces that come down a red carpet runway or a red carpet. So I don't know. That's hard. Either way, it wasn't enough time.
To be in the mind.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't enough time. It was interesting, though, after their first day, they all sat down. We saw them kind of sit down and have a drink together, and they were chatting. And I don't remember which contestant it was, but they asked who's actually done, who's styled a celebrity for a red carpet before. And the last person that I thought would have ever done anything for a celebrity was Althea. And she mentioned that she's styled the Kardashians for some, I guess, billboards.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to the hoochie clothes.
Exactly, because then they actually showed the dress, and it was like just a tight-fitted black dress, which you see Kim Kardashian
with some
all the
mesh
time.
Thing here.
Yeah, like mesh down the side.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. You know.
And then Emilio had done a dress for some Tony Award winner.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
That's pretty good. I could see Emilio doing some red carpet fashion.
Sure.
Before we move into the runway, we're going to talk about the fan favorite.
Yay.
Did you guys see the little banner they had down at the bottom that actually told you who the fan favorite was?
No, I missed it.
You didn't even notice?
I missed it.
I thought for sure I couldn't quiz you guys because you would already know. So at this point in the competition, who do you think is the fan favorite?
My fan favorite is Casanova.
Your fan favorite? Okay, Cougar?
Really? My fan favorite would be Uli.
Uli. The fan favorite is still Anthony Ryan.
Oh.
What? You guys, I think he's so
No,
good.
He's good. He's good.
I think he's really good. In fact, I think he might be the top designer in this particular competition.
Wow.
Maybe. I mean, I really love Uli. Maybe. I don't know. At this point, I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of Casanova's personality. He's just my favorite in general. But as a designer, Anthony Ryan seems to be the most consistent.
He is.
So
he's like Dimitri on the last season.
Oh, don't talk about our Mitri.
I love Mitri.
Don't.
No, he was just consistent.
Pitter patter.
Oh gosh.
We love Mitri. Well, if you guys are wondering where I'm getting this info, I'm getting it from my fantastic iPhone app that I got on iTunes. So if you want to follow along, go there, get this app. While you're there, of course, you want to subscribe to us. You want to watch us. You want to watch all the other AfterBuzz TV podcasts because, as you know, it helps us. It keeps us here. It keeps us doing it for you so that you can keep watching us. And the love just goes back and forth. So get on iTunes, subscribe, and, of course, tell your friends. And rate us and comment because we do love the comments. I think Cougar challenged you guys to disagree with him last time.
That's true.
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm waiting for it. So please remember to do that.
Yeah, because we can't be the only ones disagreeing with him. We know you guys disagree, too.
We need you to back us on the iTunes comments and just tell Cougar how wrong he is from time to time. So please do that while you are on iTunes. Now, do you want to defend yourself? I don't think you can.
No, I can defend myself in the sense of I'm always right, so I don't really care what any of you say. I just want to hear what your opinions are so that I can put you in your place.
Ooh. Sounds like a challenge.
I like it.
A challenge.
I like the
challenge.
A challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Let's go.
All right. We are moving on into the runway. As you mentioned, Virginia, a lot of people were sewing their models in last minute. And I think it was a little obvious as they started to come down.
Everybody in some way was unfinished.
Yeah,
even
I agree.
A little bit, even a little one.
Maybe, yeah. So first we had Joshua. His look to me, I didn't love it. It was a one shoulder, like a dark green, and one shoulder long. I think it did have like a slit up the side or something.
They spent like 2 seconds on it.
We didn't even see him.
We didn't see him in the
really
workroom. It was okay.
Oh, is this it?
Maybe.
Can we back up and talk about this right here?
Yeah.
What?
For those of you that can't see what we're talking about, we're talking about Caroline Murphy right before the runway. She walks out in this long dark green silk
awful
dress.
Neckline, totally.
It's not flattering. Did you see it?
Not flattering in any way.
She had some cellulite right there.
Oh.
Not that you can't have cellulite, but you don't want to wear a dress that shows it, even when you're a model.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
no.
The neckline is what killed me.
Oh, man.
If
There's so many things.
Dropped lower, it might be nice.
And even the seams, all of it. Not
This is
great.
what we wondered. Did she pick this out herself, or did somebody on the B Squad styling team pick that up
B
for her?
Squad. Or she's
Or
B
her.
Squad. I don't know. Somebody's B Squad here.
I think she's B Squad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caroline Murphy.
Exactly.
Anyways, back to
Josh. So
Josh.
back to Josh. It was a one-shoulder green long gown, and in the center, it kind of had a different shape, but it kind of had some detailing in the center. I can't even describe it. It's like
they spent 2
it was like
seconds
a print.
on it.
It was some kind of printed fabric, and it.
I love that you're trying to describe it right
now. With my fingers, and it went like this with these like pointy edges. We'll see it right now.
Right now.
See, it had something. I wasn't totally off.
No.
Yeah, it's not great.
Awful.
It's not great. It's not great. It's okay. But what I can say about it is probably one of 2 that are somewhat almost 100% finished looking.
I agree.
I think
definitely
the 2 that end up being safe are 2 that look the most finished.
Right.
Yeah.
So then there's Uli, and she had a short blue print. It even looks like it has some like browns in it. Maybe that's why it looked like a rainy Miami day.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of draping to it with the feathers and the detailing. What did you guys think of Uli?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was really cute. I mean, it could, serve a whole bunch of age ranges on the red carpet, I thought. And it was kind of just like fun. Like you would feel like you would have a really good time in the dress. I mean, anytime you wear feathers, it's like,
right.
Yeah.
It's true.
you're having fun.
I agree. Anytime I wear feathers, I just feel so fun. So, why not? Just
all
like
those
to add
off
all
days
these
when you're
feathers.
just hanging out with
exactly.
your boa on.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
I walk around with a boa in lieu of a scarf.
There you go.
Who doesn't? After Uli, we had Althea. And I can't even describe it, and I'm not even going to try. The pattern or the print fabric was it like a paley pink, like a weird
pale
mauve.
pink and pale purple.
mauve. Great description of the color. And it had like dots.
Yeah.
But you could tell the dots were like of a different texture. It looked horrible. I thought it looked like an old fabric, like a fabric that may have been sitting in a basement for years. And the dress was awful. I thought it looked scrappy. It looked like scraps of fabric like pinned together. Just awful.
It looks like Maria from The Sound of Music took somebody's old curtains down and made a dress.
But Maria from The Sound of Music wasn't trashy and slutty, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she could still make a dress.
Yeah.
But
hers would have been way more conservative.
It looked like
this was bad.
The color of the fabric looked like it had been in the sun for
I
many
agree.
years.
Yeah.
Tarnished, damaged, old.
Yep.
Yes.
And you
sun.
could see it in Diane von Furstenberg's face. As soon as that model walked out, her eyes just... She gave the death stare.
It was definitely bad. Then we had Casanova, who we all actually were pretty surprised with.
Yeah.
His pattern, it wasn't a good looking pattern when they actually zoomed in, but from far away, it actually looked really pretty.
Yeah.
It had a really pretty color to it.
It had a great lining on the inside, like a strawberry color, which she was excited about when he picked out his swatch. It had the reversibility of the fabric, and it turned out fine.
It was very simple and flowy at the bottom, and then had a little more structure at the top with that kind of like curved detail near the bust. Yeah. So I was actually really surprised. Another great Casanova look. Then Anthony Ryan did his, and it was like just this blue drapey
goddess.
That's a Greek goddess, and it had the very deep low cut front, but it also had these black bands, like one right in the waistline, and then up at the shoulders. And I personally liked the dress, but I thought the black band made it look cheaper to me. Like it didn't look red carpet to me. Maybe if that had just been a hint of embellishment, or a hint of something a little bit more glamorous, it would have been just light enough.
Swarovski crystals.
Exactly.
Something.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Crystals.
Yes,
crystals.
exactly.
Everywhere.
It's something, just not this like black fabric.
Flat.
Yeah, flat, very flat. I thought maybe had he done something different, it would have been a little bit more red carpet glamorous.
No, what did make it red carpet though was that it gave you a nice peek of the panties.
Yes, and you always get a peek of the panties.
You get a peek of
on
something
the red carpet. Exactly.
And they even called that out. He even called it out. You get a nice peek of the panty.
Exactly. And who doesn't want that? Applause for the peek of the panty. That was Anthony Ryan. Then we had Laura Kathleen, who came down in Diane von Furstenberg.
Wait, we had Ivy.
Oh, we had Ivy. Ugh, I just wanted to skip her. The ray of sunshine that she is.
The biggest star out there.
Exactly. So Ivy's look comes down, and she actually cut it to be a short dress because she couldn't complete the long one. Is that what it was?
Yeah, she couldn't. The finishing on the long one
was bad.
Yep.
And you guys describe it.
Well, I love my note taking because I just, when it gets down to this part of the show, I write things like awful, and that's
right,
it.
exactly. You're like, I can't even bother describing
Yeah.
it. Basically, up at the top on at the chest was.
It was supposed to be like a beam of light, like sun rays.
It was structured to be pleated.
It was like pleated to
right.
make
But she didn't have time to steam it, and it just looked like it probably still had the pins in it.
Yeah, well, it was like a fan of pleats up at the top.
Well,
pleats.
She even said
look at the pleats.
Oh, whatever that's
when
ugly.
You're actually making those pleats, you actually have to, after you sew it, you have to flip it and iron it so that the pleat actually pops a little more, and she didn't actually have time to do that. So that's why it looks so awful.
Yeah.
Because they're not structured.
Because when you're sewing, it doesn't really actually make a nice, it doesn't lay flat until you iron the other side, and then it gives it a really nice seam. And so that's why you can see it's all kind of like puffy, because she didn't actually have time to go back and do that.
The science of sewing.
Yeah, the science.
Thank you.
Science of fashion. I did not.
But so that's why it really looks that awful. But I think anytime you have satin, you have to really, really drape it perfectly, or else any little hint of bad sewing or any little, offset is really going to show.
I agree with you. I thought it was bad, but I just thought it was hysterical because she continued to use this whole ray of sunshine. And you want the celebrity to look like a star, and the sun is the biggest star. And I just think it's such a stretch and silly. So that was Ivy. Then we had Laura Kathleen come down in what Diane von Furstenberg went into this detailed story about the prince that she dated in
back
Rome.
In her 20s.
She was engaged in her 20s, and they went to these elegant parties, and it's a pajama palazzo. A pajama palazzo, which she went into this great detailed story, and I thought, oh, this sounds so great. Then she said pajama palazzo, and I'm like, that sounds like she's about to rip her apart. But I guess at these particular parties, the pajama palazzo is very elegant.
Great stuff.
And then she said, I love it.
I love it.
It was very simple after that whole thing. Right. And I'm not a fan of Laura Kathleen, but I really liked this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted to hate it. I really wanted to hate her because I really
You can still hate her.
Well, I do.
Okay.
But I really, really was hoping that she would make something ugly so that Diane would just be like, you suck. And I know that would have been great. Really terrible and evil.
So right.
But yeah, I was kind of sad that it was so nice. I was like, damn it.
I was looking for an excuse for those eyebrows to take a hike.
Oh yeah.
We need to start like a fan club, like.
You mean
a Twitter handle for
Laura
Kathleen's eyebrows.
Please, somebody start that. I will follow you immediately and retweet all of your tweets.
Yeah, Laura Kathleen had this really great print. It was very colorful. It worked so well with this palazzo, and even this, it was a one piece. And it had kind of draping in the back. And there was even a little gold detail, like a thin belt. I think that you almost couldn't even see it. But I thought it was just the perfect detailing. I don't know if I've seen many people come down a red carpet in an outfit like this.
Not red carpet at all.
Doesn't mean they can't. Maybe just a particular red carpet. Maybe this is more a premiere red carpet, like a movie premiere. I could see that. And it, you'd really have to style them well with their makeup and their hair. It could be done correctly.
I mean, there's so many red carpets here in LA for movie premieres. People go in a white button down and a black skirt these days.
They go in their pajamas. Their pajama
LA.
palazzos.
It's perfect.
I think that as soon as Diane von Furstenberg said that, it's a pajama palazzo. I love it.
Yeah.
And all the other judges fell in line. They're like, oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well, and it looked finished, and it looked like it was done really well.
Yeah. It looked expensive.
So it did look expensive. I liked it. Then we had Emilio, who Emilio, when he saw his outfit come down the runway, admitted that it was the sloppiest look he's ever sent down in his career. I didn't think it was that bad, but I don't think it was as apparent to us.
Yeah.
The sloppiness that he was referring to that they could see in person.
The camera couldn't really catch the lining and the unfinished,
Well, they showed the hem where you could see
They showed the hem,
the contrast on the white where you could see that it was fraying. So, I'm sure they saw it because they're, just a few feet away.
Right. And so it was this really gorgeous red.
Chiffon.
And he had a band of just detailing beaded
He should have given
embellishment,
that to Anthony Ryan.
just straight across the top, and then it went over one shoulder and then went across the back. I thought the design and the style of it, I really liked. I thought it was pretty. I could see that on a runway, and I thought the embellishment was just enough. Personally, I loved the color, but it wasn't finished, and I guess it just wasn't done well enough for the judges to really like it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Any thoughts?
I thought it was a great dress, and it was very appropriate for his model. You know, like they definitely remarked, I think Isaac Mizrahi remarked about how such a great color for that black model that he had.
Right.
The fact that it was unfinished, you know, that I think it just goes with the time constraint. I think a little bit more time, he would have had a perfectly fine dress.
Well, I thought it was interesting because Diane von Furstenberg said that obviously the lining was the issue, but she said the trim he didn't need it at all.
No, I didn't think he needed the trim either because red is such a powerful color. As soon as you're wearing it, people look at you. You know, so adding just more bedazzle to all that, I think it kind of cheapened the look a little because, you know, you have that really beautiful color. If you would have just, you know, focused on draping it a little bit better and, you know, making the under part of it better. It
became Forever 21.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. It didn't bother me to that extreme. I agree with you that red can stand alone completely, but I didn't think that the trim was that bad. And Diane von Furstenberg was like, it's a total miss. This dress is a total miss.
But if you look at it,
that was pretty harsh.
Like up close, it just
up close. I
agree.
It wasn't maybe the right trim.
I'll tell you what's a complete miss is Caroline Murphy and her red lipstick in her dress. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
Why didn't anybody comment on that?
Yeah. So before we get actually into the bottom and the top, I have some news and gossip that I want to share with you guys. Some things that you might already know.
I'm super excited.
Oh, good. You should be. So, first and foremost, I was really excited to learn about this. Lifetime announced on Wednesday that they'll be airing a new special that will highlight a behind-the-scenes look at the fashion house of Marquesa. I know, Virginia, you're going to love it. Co-founded by who we all love, Georgina Chapman, our Project Runway All-Star judge. So this half-hour documentary is going to also feature Halle Berry, Eva Longoria, and the Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour.
Wow.
And this is basically just going to give a look at how this fashion house particularly designs red carpet fashion for these A-lister celebrities. So you guys can watch that on December 20th, Thursday at 10 p.m. Also, in regards to Marquesa and Georgina Chapman, we're excited to announce that she is pregnant with her second baby. So this is, yay, Georgina.
Yay.
We're excited for her.
Congratulations.
So she's 36, and this will be her second child with her husband, Harvey Weinstein, the movie master, who is 60.
Nice.
Exactly.
Way
Lucky
to go,
Harvey. I know. And this will be, I believe, the 5th or 6th child for Harvey, and he has all girls so far. So we'll see if it's a boy or a girl. They don't know yet.
That tells you a lot about Harvey's past.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all with one lady. The other
No,
children.
I'm saying.
Oh. Are you saying all girls?
I'm just saying, you know, probably if I were to have kids tomorrow, they would all be girls. And, you know, anybody who leads a crazy, fun, awesome life.
Really?
All girls. Or, you know, mostly girls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, that is all that I have for news and gossip. Do you have anything else?
Well, you know, just speaking of Marquesa, I did have a chance to go into Target and look at the Neiman Marcus collection, and I loved the Marquesa dresses that they had there. But the problem was they only had Marquesa for little girls. And, you know, I looked.
Rude.
Yeah, and they're really
cool.
they were only $100, and the detailing on them was so beautiful. It was like their 2011 collection where they had all of these really beautiful beading on top and then kind of a frilly dress on the bottom. And, you know, I looked at the extra large and I thought I might be able to squeeze myself into it, but I just don't think that's going to happen because I would be a little embarrassed to tell people.
I think that was wise
like shopping
of you.
at Baby Gap.
It's just one of those sad things you have to accept.
Well, you know, I have bought a girl's extra large before. I'm not gonna lie. Forever 21.
There you go. Well, we had very Marquesa themed news today. All exciting stuff. I'm excited for that documentary, so we all have
Me
to
too.
check that out. December 20th.
Target also did have the guest judge from last week, Robert Rodriguez. He had some in that collection as well.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still there, right?
It's still there.
Until when? Do we know? Or we don't know.
I think through the holiday.
About it. Okay,
Remember,
great.
it's 50 different designers that have teamed with Neiman
right.
Marcus and Target. So there's a lot of good stuff, both in home and in the clothing, apparel.
Alice and Olivia. There's Rag and Bone. Oscar de la Renta.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
However, I'll be on Amazon because I'm not going to be battling the lines. Anyways, getting back to our episode at the very end, we find out that the bottom 3 are Ivy, Emilio, and Althea. Any thoughts on the bottom 3? What did you guys think? Pretty predictable based on what you saw?
Very predictable.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty
there
predictable.
was a huge separation between the finished good looks and what was bad. And I mean, the 3 bad were the 3 bottom.
And I don't think, Emilio was in the top last week, and I think we all automatically knew he wasn't going home.
Right.
Yeah.
The dress wasn't terrible. It just wasn't that great because you had to pick the bottom 3.
I agree.
But I didn't think it was.
Yeah, he's definitely not a bottom 3 designer. It was just a bottom 3 look in this particular runway.
Josh and Casanova, they were safe.
Right.
We were wondering if Josh threw another tantrum from being safe again, but he seemed pretty pleased.
They didn't show it if he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed pleased. Maybe because he wasn't put back there with Ivy.
Yeah.
So I think he just gets a little catty.
Yep.
But then we had Laura Kathleen, Anthony Ryan, and Uli at the top. And I was surprised that I know Joanna made a comment to Uli about this being really similar to her last look and not really doing anything different. And they didn't talk about that to her with her look. But at the same time, I think she rightly deserved to be in the top.
Yeah.
So they let Emilio go first, right? They said, you're safe. And then when they were down to Ivy and Althea, which, like you said, Virginia, we pretty much figured they were going to be the bottom 2. Was there one at that point that you were really hoping for that would be sent home?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who?
For me, it was Ivy.
Really?
Yeah. Awful.
You? Really?
Yeah.
I think I said the same thing when we were in there. I was like, Althea hasn't done anything great, but I almost would rather keep Althea in the competition than Ivy at that point.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was going to happen because we all knew that Ivy has been in the top in previous challenges, and Althea, like Joanna pointed out, she's been flying under the radar. She hasn't done anything great. So sadly, Althea goes home. Oh, sad.
Tears. But she went out with a great quote.
She was sobbing. Great quote was,
"To be a true person is to be a good person."
Thank you, Althea, for enlightening us with your,
with your Zen-like
poor
wisdom.
Althea. She was really emotional.
She was
and sobbing, and the
then
tears
they shut
were
the
flowing.
lights off on her.
Oh,
poor girl.
Just like get the hell out. Time's up. Shutting the lights off. But she was very positive, so she has that going for her, and maybe if she keeps working for the Kardashians, she's got it made. They don't wear the greatest of things all the time, but
yeah,
if it keeps her employed, hey, why not?
Do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Do your thing, girl.
So do your thing out there. Then we had in the top Laura Kathleen, Anthony Ryan, and Uli. Who did you guys think was going to be the winner? Did you guys have an...
in the top 3, I thought it was going to be Uli.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be Laura Kathleen because, they'd pointed out that Uli, the back of her dress didn't look finished because the trim was just hanging back.
Oh, that's right.
And unfortunately, Laura Kathleen, as much as I didn't want her to win, it was the best made garment, and it looked completely finished.
I didn't think it'd be her just because I knew she was getting a lot of love for that design, but it wasn't a red carpet design in my mind. I thought she did a great job, but it just wasn't red carpet. And I don't like giving a win to somebody who doesn't really hit the mark.
I hear ya. Well, Laura Kathleen won, which only just made it worse for us because we didn't want to see her win in the eyes of her idol.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are haters.
Definitely.
Whatever.
If it wasn't for
That's
those
why
eyebrows,
we're here. What do you think we're doing?
I thought I was supposed to be the hater.
You are.
Yeah.
But you're just the one we disagree with from time to time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those eyebrows, I'd keep her around.
Well.
Just kidding.
Okay. Well, moving on. Next week, we're excited to see. It's going to be the unconventional challenge. So that's going to be a really interesting one. They're going to be doing something with Christmas decor. Can't wait to see how they do anything with that. That's going to be interesting. And Kylie Minogue will be the guest host.
Yeah.
So where can we find you, Cougar?
You can find me at Left Coast Fashion. I think you should follow me at Cougar Tweets.
You can follow me at Virginia Reyna.
And you can follow me at @low_Viez. And you can follow me on AfterBuzz TV.
Follow all of us on AfterBuzz.
Follow us on iTunes and follow us on YouTube and leave some comments.
Amazon, you had a lot to do. You guys out there, you had a lot to do today. Amazon everywhere. Comments all up in this grill.
All up in this grill. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.